Hello, hello everyone. Hello, all the people listening, connecting with our Café&Croissant of December. But this time it's not a Café&Croissant because it's December, it's Christmas. And as the Fongit tradition wants, we are going to have an espresso and panettone. So I'm happy to see all of you joining. I'm checking so many people. It's so nice to see and meet you all virtually. But for this espresso panettone, I'm not alone today. As usual, I'm together with my wonderful Fongit people, and there should be James connected from the cafeteria. Hello, James.
Bonjour and happy third Advent week, Antonio. I'm here in the Fongit cafeteria and we have panettone. It's wrapped because you're going to have to wait until later on in this broadcast to understand the innovation and the history of panettone. So hold on right to the end if you want to discover this Christmas tradition at Fongit.
Yes, it's going to be thrilling to discover what the tradition will look like this year. Yeah. And I guess we also have from Geneus, from the other side of the town, Ingeborg. Hello, Ingeborg. How are you today?
Everyone. All good on this side of town. I look forward to hearing the story about the Christmas edition, the panettone history. I also look forward to the discussion that will take place afterwards.
Yeah, let's see if we can find finally the real story of the panettone this year. I think we can start. If you're all well connected, you can fasten your seat belts, and we're going to run through a very interesting presentation to end up in a crescendo towards the panettone legend. All right?
Tell us what's hot in Swiss startup land, Antonio.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's start with the espresso and panettone. So for the Italian purist, of course, espresso is not an espresso, it's an espresso. However, we wanted to keep espresso because we hope that this year is going to be an X year very soon. So we look very much forward to have, a bright 21 where we want things really to make to be better, and we can make them better by just willing and trying hard. So this espresso of this X year, hopefully, has brought, however, very interesting new things happening for Fongit. As you guys know, we have been really held the line. We have been holding the lines for our startups, trying to help, trying to support as much as we can, granting public money for trying to drive them through this period of turbulent times. And also the results of Fongit of 2020 have been remarkable. Just to give you a few highlights, Fongit analyzed more than 350 projects this year, which proves that the entrepreneurship and the tech entrepreneurship is still, luckily, extremely very active. And that is really the proof of the resilience of the human beings of the world. In tough times, entrepreneurs come out, and the 350 projects is really a very high number. And among these 350, we managed to support 12 new companies this year. And if we combine also with the results of Geneus that Ingeborg will present in some time, in a few minutes, we end up with more than 30 new projects supported. That makes today Fongit in the range of the 100 projects supported. which is great. You know, the growth of our community, entrepreneurship community, is really amazing. And always, as a good metrics of success, at least intermediary success, there is the fundraising for our company. So the ability to raise money and to attract external investors to believe in their projects. This year, 2020, annus horribilis, we managed to raise, not we, but our startups managed to raise more than 30 million of Swiss francs from external funding, proving that the investors are, you know, a bit cautious, but they're still active and investing in technology, and in particular investing in the future, both the future of our economy and the future of our jobs is absolutely the right answer, in particular during this period of crisis. So, having said that, let me give you very quickly some extremely good news of some of our companies that we have been supporting. Starting with a company, a life science company called ABCDX, which is a well-known company in Geneva because has all the right pedigree of coming from University of Geneva, is a spin-off from University of Geneva, supported by Geneus, by Fongit, among others, and they have been able to present with the latest impressive clinical results to the World Stroke Organization conference, which is a very important worldwide conference. They presented their device for providing first responders with a stroke diagnosis. So in no time, they are able to, with a simple finger prick, before the patient even arrives to the hospital, they are able to detect if we're talking about an ischemic versus an hemorrhagic stroke. And as you know, this makes the difference between life and death if you have a real-time or quasi-real-time diagnosis regarding this. So this technology has been tested, has been proven, has been presented now to the scientific community, which welcomed that with great enthusiasm. And now the company targets the market launch in starting in the United States in 21. And that's great because that's a Geneva technology, a Geneva DNA company that comes from university straight to the market. Fantastic. So well done, ABCDX. That's a great achievement that makes all the Geneva community proud. Another well-known company that I'd like to mention today of Geneva, also Fongit supported, changing the subject and going towards sustainability and in particular environmental sustainability. As you guys know, CERN is an incredible pool of talents, not only regarding the typical elements that you might think of when it comes to physics and the nuclear physics in particular, but these incredible scientists are able to direct their inventions towards unexpected market needs. And you have heard of many companies, for example, coming from CERN and active in life science and in medtech. We are going to have another one mentioned today in a moment. TVP Solar took a CERN technology that was developed, the know-how was developed at CERN, that's the right way to say it, because it's about vacuum technology. This time, vacuum technology deployed for solar panels, in particular thermal solar panels, being able to deliver something which is unique in the world, a flat thermal solar panel delivering impressive results and performances when it comes to the absolute performance and also the duration in time. That's really remarkable, and after many years of development, finally this company is getting what it deserves, which is success. So now they are getting an implementation with ACJ here in Geneva, which has been pivoting after the recent announcements towards really sustainable and really environmental friendly approach, and together with other players of the region. So also Nestlé is another one that is going to develop renewable energy deployment for their factories and industrial sites. So both ACJ and Nestlé, they decided to start to deploy TVP solar technology, which is really a fast-growing company, and you will hear more about this company also in the coming year 21 for also great new announcements. So well done TVP, and well done Piero, who is the CEO and founder and co-founder in the picture, that not by chance is also Italian, and so it fits well in the panettone mosaic that we are building today. Another company we would like to mention today, we change again sector, and we talk today now about Food Detective. Food Detective is a company, a Geneva-based company that offers a support for all the digitalization of restaurants for their transition toward digitalization. So they offer like kind of a marketplace where a restaurant can have all the technology centralized. In general, food and beverage management system solutions, like the inventory, the suppliers, the cash management, and so on. And this platform today has been growing fast, thanks also to COVID. So because, of course, going digital for the food and beverage industry has been mandatory in order to survive. Food and beverage industry has been one of the most affected sectors during this year. And the fast and the quick deployment of digital transformation has been vital for this sector. Food Detective has been addressing this specific need, and they have been able to grow fast. And today, now they serve more than 20,000 restaurants with their solution around Switzerland. So their growth this year proves that no matter how startup your company is, if you address a specific need and a pain point for a sector, you have success. And the Food Detective is really solving a life-threatening issue for the sector of food and beverage that we hope we can see again ramping up and being successful in 21. So well done, Food Detective, for this. The last company I'd like to mention is a well-known company where we have been announcing things recently, these last Café&Croissant for Therapet. Therapet, a bit like TVP Solar, comes from CERN. Therapet is an official CERN spin-off, and they're using their technology for building new technology, new sensors, for new detectors for proton therapy. And they have been really recognized by both investors this year because they raised a significant seed round. And the announcement that we'd like to share with you today is about a 500,000 Eurostars award that they got. And with this consortium that has been built, has been arranged between Therapet and the Karolinska Institute, a Nobel Prize awarding institute. Therapet is really setting up the stage for building something that is going to be remarkable for the industry. So keep an eye on this company that's still in development, still very young, but extremely promising for the future of this technology, for Geneva and for the world, of course. So well done, Therapet, as well. Congratulations for this very successful year. Now, you see, as I spoke, and I just mentioned about these European grants, and the question normally that entrepreneurs ask, I mean, we are in Switzerland, so we're not in technically in Europe. How can we get funded by European awards? And surprisingly, Switzerland and Swiss technologies, Swiss deep tech projects, they cannot only possibly receive a funding from European Union, but actually, if you see this graph that has been published in a recent report, the Swiss Startup Radar, that I strongly invite you to read, because an extremely valuable piece of information delivered by both Startup Ticker in collaboration with the University of Lausanne. I mean, this report says something which is extremely simple, extremely powerful. Not only European grants are accessible for Swiss companies, but actually European grants, the Horizon 2020, last year, or a bit more than last year, 1.5 years, granted to Swiss company the highest number of grants. So 74 grants, where the second countries is France with 68 and Germany with 66 afterwards. So you understand how is recognized the Swiss innovation, the Swiss deep tech, also at the European level. So for entrepreneurs, we encourage to look and see the possibility to receive this very qualitative type of funding, is qualifying as well, and is non-dilutive. So or part of it is also non-dilutive. So I think that is a very good thing for you to look for. And Switzerland is really thriving in that. In this report as well, you have so many other interesting news regarding the impact in job creation from startups, what we call the social impact for the innovation, as defined as a transformation process from an idea and invention research into economic and social impact. So jobs creation, what is the role of the investments, and these data points are extremely valuable if you want to have a clear understanding of what Switzerland is becoming. And I invite you to read it during the holidays. Very quickly about something that is also constantly updated, and this is more for all entrepreneurs connected today and listening today, is about the investors. So, I mean, the investors have been in 2020 relatively active, and despite the crisis, so there was of course some more prudent approach, but we saw a robust investment flow. And 21, we hopefully will see even a catch up of with what was the trend, the growth trend that we experienced in the year previously to 2020. And if you want to see, you want to have an extensive and exhaustive list of investors active in Switzerland, go and check on startup.ch, which has recently updated its directory for top investors in startups. So go on startup.ch and you will find all the investors that you can talk to or you can contact in case you are planning a fundraise in 2021. And with that, I'd like to gently move quickly towards more a life sciencey ambient, than to pass it over to Ingeborg to mention two things. The first thing is a very interesting study report that has been published by La Chambre de Commerce, la CCIG, the local Chamber of Commerce in Geneva, in collaboration with the Banque Cantonale of Geneva, so with the most local bank of the Geneva canton. And it's a very interesting report that has been edited by a journalist, Aline Yazgi, that always she's very actually she's very good in doing these reports. It's not the first time, and it's an extensive analysis of the life science sector in the Arc Lémanique, in the Lake Geneva area. I think that is worth a reading, because you see how valuable is the life science sector, how lively is, how promising is, how it's really unveiling all its potential in these 5 years or so, and this thing is accelerating. So you have. And this is why, because of the density of the actors. You have international organizations like WHO, you have investors, you have incredible research university institutes, you have the CERN, University of Geneva, EPFL, the Campus Biotech, the HOS, and then afterwards you have all these actors helping each other, Fongit, EPFL Innovation Park, Geneus, all together really building an extremely robust type of community related to life science. So really go and check this, because it's becoming something that is remarkably world class. And the reason is that we see investors coming, we see companies trying to get earlier access to the companies developed in this region. So very interesting report. You can find it on the website of Chambre de Commerce and BCG, or also on our socials. Related to that, there is an event that we ran recently on the 3rd of December, where we showcased, in fact, some examples of good startups in life science. We had 6 startups presented. The Therapet, Adipose, Kejaco, Iremis, MPC Therapeutics, and VFI, and all of those companies really developed and showcased an extremely compelling value proposition, very diverse, very vertical, and extremely valuable. So it has been a showcase that has been quite successful. That has been done in collaboration with Fongit and Eclosion, which is the other foundation in Geneva dealing with life science projects. And as you might know, both foundations will work together starting in 2021, hand in hand, in order to continue to support in an even better and more enhanced type of support all the life science projects in Geneva. There was also a great presentation by Professor Hartley. Was really extremely interesting, because he presented all the challenges and the solution for biotech startups from the discovery to the market, and all the long journey full of roadblocks, of milestones, of pitfalls that a startup of this kind has to build and has to go through. Very interesting, because also sets the tone for entrepreneurs to know what the investors are expecting from them every time they have an advancement and a milestone achieved. So, if you're interested to know more about this event, I think we have we have some interesting material for you. Don't hesitate to contact us, and then we will get back to you. With that, I think that is the best transition towards the pure life science world that is today clustered in 2 areas mainly of the town. One is Plan-les-Ouates, and the other one is, of course, at Campus Biotech, where a lot of interesting life science projects are, and also where Geneus is. Geneus, where Ingeborg is there and ready to take it over. Ingeborg, I think we don't hear you. No.
I was on mute.
Okay.
Even after 1 year online, it's still, you still sometimes make that mistake. So yeah, I'm happy to share with you some news from the life sciences community. And I'd like to start with some news from our building. And as Antonio, you just said, we are based in Secheron. And for those of you who know Geneva a bit, we are based in that corner of Geneva, where also the international organizations. So in that building, we have Relief Therapeutics. And you may have seen the news, or you may have heard from it from the previous Café&Croissant. But this Campus Biotech Innovation Park company made a huge turnaround during the COVID pandemic. So their drug, Avaptadil, is proving to be effective for patients who are severely affected by the coronavirus. But the difference was that this drug was already tested and declared as safe and well tolerated before the pandemic. And that gave Relief Therapeutics a real head start on their COVID medication research. And this reflected in a stellar increase of Relief Therapeutics market value. And in 1 week, their share value increased for Relief Therapeutics to reach unicorn status, now being worth over 1 billion Swiss francs. Another really exciting startup in our building is Core Therapeutics, who are developing drugs for patients with rare and life-threatening diseases with a significant unmet need. So they launched with a $16 million Series A funding from Omega Funds. And for those of you who are more familiar with the type, rare diseases obviously are diseases that do not occur in most of the people. And therefore, they don't have access to the medication that any disease that more people affect have. And the CEO, Tom Plitz, also stated that although rare diseases affect only a small proportion of the overall population, these patients affected by rare disease deserve the same choice of treatment developed with the same scientific rigor as more common conditions. So it's a really good cause, and we wish them all the luck with their new startup. Now, Iontura is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company. We're developing a pipeline of next generation molecules for cancer and fibrosis. We also mentioned them previously in previous Café&Croissants. And this summer they announced that they raised an additional 5.1 million euros, bringing its total Series A financing to 20.1 million euros. And I think it's important to mention these figures because it kind of gives an idea on kind of the quality and the impact that the life sciences startups have in the Geneva ecosystem. And last but certainly not least, I also wanted to share with you some news from Stalicla, another Swiss biotech company based at Campus Biotech Innovation Park, and they are leading in the field of precision medicine for neurodevelopmental disorders. And they have seen a very strong growth over the past years, and it's always a very interesting company to watch. In financing terms, they have had growth, but also looking at their team, they have this fantastic ability to attract incredible talent, and they're now 22 people strong. And their financing series reached 22.5 million between 2017 and 2020. And a major milestone this year then also includes that Stalicla became now a clinical stage company with the approval of its STP1 investigational new drug application by the US Food and Drug Administration. So if you're interested in learning more about Stalicla and its inspiring founder and CEO, Lynn Durham, there was this wonderful event organized by Industries called Business Ideas, and they put two founders on the forefront. And one of them was Lynn Durham, and the other one was actually Javier Bello from Inverse. And if you want to see the replay of those videos, I warmly recommend. My colleagues are now posting the chat, the link in the chat. So despite the unusual year, I think we can all name 2020, Genius also brought good results for the Geneva life sciences scene. And we supported a record of 41 projects, of which 25 new in 2020. And just for those of you who do not know what Genius does exactly, so we support early stage entrepreneurs who really want to develop their idea into a sustainable and scalable business model. And the scientists and entrepreneurs who are currently supported by Genius, they work on a variety of exciting innovations for the life sciences sector, ranging from physical and mental health trackers, to new methods to optimize drug screening processes, and that you can save a lot of money in the process, all leading, and including novel cancer treatments, all leading to our future health and well-being. So I think it's a really relevant topic to be working in. And if you're interested in learning more about the projects that will really define the future of our healthcare, you can always go to our website where we listed all our current projects and our alumni. And for those of you who heard of this event that took place, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, it was in collaboration with InnoPeaks, the Accelerator showcase organized by Laforge in EPFL Innovation Park, one of our founding partners. And they created a 3D version of the Swiss Tech Convention Center. And it was kind of a new kind in this genre. It was really interactive and had an incredible number of participants, including 27 investors, almost 800 participants participating. And we were very proud that 4 of our projects were also able to present themselves there. So if you missed the event and if you want to get that 3D experience and see the future of event organization, then click on the link in the chat. Now for the future coming up in the next year, we'll kick off the new year with a very useful workshop, I'm sure, for any professional who had to move their interaction online. Kelly Rack, who has been successfully running similar workshops with the IMD MBA programs, will present a Zoom workshop on how to present yourself better virtually, be it on Zoom, a live stream, or in a pre-recorded video. So you can contact us if you want to have more information about that. And the Life Sciences Cluster in Western Switzerland, BioAlps, is organizing on the 3rd and 4th of February an event that brings together decision makers from pharma and biotech industry, clinicians, and organ-on-a-chip suppliers, regulatory experts, etc. And it will really offer the members of the organ-on-a-chip community multiple opportunities to network and present your project to this community. So raise your profile and attend this event. And as a last thing, Antonio, since we're doing this kind of Christmas, celebration session, I also want to take the opportunity to really thank, on behalf of myself, but also the projects who we support and the Campus Biotech Innovation Park community, the team at Genius. So Trisha, Kelly, and Sam, I know you're there. I just really want to say, fantastic. It's so wonderful working with you. Your exciting collaboration and excellence. And also I wanted to thank Fongit and the Fongit team, obviously, without whom we would never have been able to bring these results. So for that, thank you.
Thank you, Ingeborg. It's celebration of the team always. A celebration also, I think, of the families that are supporting us. And we don't have to forget that those are our main stakeholders, and we need to recognize how important they are. The team as a family and the family as a family as well. And with that, I think I've got in the cafeteria someone that now is almost family as well. James.
Hello, and I want to share with you some exciting things to look forward to in 2021. So, why do we do what we do? If you can find your purpose, then you have tapped a really powerful way of motivating yourself and focusing your abilities on what success is for you and for your startup. And we're very lucky to have Brad Peppard presenting a special course called On Purpose, which has been developed by the Stanford Alumni Organization. And he'll be combining his moderation with an online video part run by a senior lecturer from Stanford for the course. So if you wanted to really understand the science behind purpose and also understand the tools for amplifying intentionality in your life so that you will have a more focused and powerful startup and innovation in 2021, we can really recommend this afternoon workshop. It's really rare for us to be able to get this world-class content that is normally only available at special times to Stanford University alumni. So thank you very much, Brad, for sharing that with us. Quick background on Brad. Brad has over 30 years of startup experience in Silicon Valley, and he is actually an InnoSuisse coach for fundraising and developing your presentations for fundraising. So if you are InnoSuisse coached, he's an excellent resource for that. So we're very fortunate to have him coming in from Silicon Valley to actually live and work in Geneva. And another very important event is happening on the 21st of January. So in January 1991, two very important things happened. The first was the release of the World Wide Web. The first browser was released outside of CERN. And you can see that was a huge step in going from research to innovation with impact. At the same time, our founder, Jean-Pierre Etter, finally launched his vision, which was Geneva's Foundation for Innovation Technology. And you all know his story, where in the 70s he launched his first startup and it failed, and the second one with his brother also failed, and the third one became a very successful company called LEM. And when that IPO'd, he said, I want to create a foundation to help the next generations of entrepreneurs who can, so that they avoid all the problems that I had, and that their success can be boosted and they can have a community of the supporters that they need to be successful. And in fact, Fongit's creation really does mark a step change in Switzerland's innovation and startup community. It was the first startup incubator, and we're very pleased that around us and around Geneva and around Switzerland, this whole innovation nation has grown, and we've seen so many startup successes. So we'll be talking about that and some very exciting announcements to come on the 21st of January. So please join us online for that event. And I'd also like to say, you know, in our 29th year, we've supported well over 29 new companies. And I would like to thank all of the people that have enabled that. So the coaches at Fongit and at InnoSuisse, and also the Fongit team behind the scenes, making it all happen, making sure your administration, accounts, facility work very smoothly. So, and of course, all of you for being part of our community. So.
Yeah, thank you, James. Don't forget also that the people that are allowing the internet connection to be stable and on copper have to be thanked as well, right?
Thank you to the state of Geneva.
Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, I see. I think this is the official part of the Café&Croissant ends here. But
let it snow.
But we cannot leave you. And I see you, just quoting a famous movie, I see you shivering with anticipation about this new incredible story about the panettone. Okay?
Let me put on my Christmas jumper, Antonio. I'll be back with you in a moment.
Yeah, I can start. I can start by giving you a bit the background of this joke that is becoming out of control and is becoming more and more relevant for us. And I guess that at some point we will be invited to write something about the story or maybe the legend of Panettone. We always use this occasion when we are in physical presence. Ah, that's so nice, James. That's a nice jumper. Yeah.
I met my wife.
we had this opportunity because we used to have slices of panettone instead of the usual croissant when we are physically present. And I started to give the story of panettone as a matter of curiosity, and a few years ago, and then we realized that actually the panettone is a very interesting story, because it proves really the way he has been created. It proves really this very unique situation of serendipity of innovation, right? The serendipity innovation, where something that was basically occurred by chance that became a worldwide blockbuster in Christmas, and not only Christmas desserts. So let me wrap it up a bit, the story, and also tell you another thing that happened before starting with the story, which is that, like it happens often about successful projects. Successful projects, they have always many fathers. You know, everyone wants to jump on board, saying, "Okay, that's mine. I claim this." You know, and I think we reached the one of the worst point of worst level of our foundation, where we even had a French person, a French colleague, that came out saying that in fact panettone was not invented in Italy, but it was invented in France. Okay, we asked the proof for it, but he couldn't actually provide any proof. So so this thing, so the most credible alternative is still coming from our Chinese friends, who also they claim to have invented panettone before Italians. Now, the story cannot go this way, because you might claim to have invented pasta, you might claim to have invented even pizza, even if pizza has been invented by Mr. Hut of Pizza Hut. But I don't think you invented panettone, Chinese friends. I mean, this year, I guess you invented COVID, maybe, but no panettone. So, yeah, okay. But
I think you carry on like that, our internet is going to become very unstable, Antonio.
Yeah, but the story of panettone is basically is in the legend, and the most credible is that it came from a baker that was called to serve the meal of Lodovico il Moro in Milano back in the 16th century, a bit earlier 16th century, and he had to arrange a last minute dessert for him. And more or less the baker didn't know what to do. Is started to put some sort of bread, sugar bread, with all the raisins, all the almonds, all the things he could find in his kitchen. And in the end, he came out with this sugar bread that was served to Ludovico il Moro, that actually really enjoyed that. And so this pane, this bread, pane is the name in Italian, was baked by a cook that was called Antonio, like me, Antonio Toni. And that is why, with a great exclamation from the Ludovico il Moro, he was saying, "Okay, that's a great bread, that's a great pane, that's the pane di Toni, this is the bread of Toni." And that's why panettone, panettone, and then it became the panettone, which is in the Milanese dialect is the panettone. So the panettone. So this is a bit the origin of this cake that has been tried to that since then developed quite a lot. And this is the interesting part, is where actually the innovation occurred. So the serendipity of this sugar pane did a bit by chance, happened to become pretty successful with time. And then there was a great innovation that happened. And I think innovation, you know more about this innovation, James, do you?
I do, actually. So as Antonio said, this was very popular, but in a very small area around Milan. And at the beginning of the 1900s, a guy called Motta came up with a brilliant innovation. People call him a genius, in fact. Because before, these panettone were cooked in metal holders, and it was very, very difficult to pull them out. It takes about 20 hours to raise the dough on a panettone to get it this fluffy. And so he came up with two innovations. The first one was coming up with this paper case for the panettone, which you put the dough in, and then it's very easy at the end of the production to take it out without destroying the panettone. And today, panettone makers revere Mr. Motta as being a genius because of this paper. The other thing is, whilst in America, Mr. Ford was making his production lines for cars, actually in Milan, they decided to remain with high-end sports cars, but focus on the mass production of panettone. So they ended up making these wonderful production lines with the first factories with rollers in Italy to make the panettone. And as a result, this scaled very rapidly, and far more rapidly than the British Christmas cake, which, by the way, needs 10 weeks of maturing. So this is clearly not something that could be industrialized. So this took off, and it was almost a victim of its own success, because at some point in the early 1990s, Nestle decided to buy the two main companies that make panettone. So there's not only an innovation, there's an internationalization. But once again, we're happy to say that panettone is back in Italian hands, and most of the panettones are owned now by a company from Verona. So we're back to the home place of Romeo and Juliet. But we all have a question, which is, Antonio, why was it that your family chose to name you after the creator of this? And the second question is it just chance that your wife is an expert in patisserie?
We don't know. That's a very good question, but I think the participants they don't really care. But what they care is more related to the market size, you know. And with this innovation of this band, this paper band, the panettone took over. And I think in 2005, the estimated market was still of 200 million euros, something like that. And now we are talking about several billions, so of a very fast-growing market that makes the panettone becoming really pretty standard dessert for the traditional Christmas and beyond, because then you can use it also in other reinterpretation. So
I always thought it was actually an Easter cake.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly, the colomba. Yeah, and so and that's it. So I think I should thank also my parents for naming me after Tony. So hoping to be as successful as he was by chance, and that's great. And but I think that's the story, and I think it's an incredible story. Ingeborg, this is what you were expecting?
Yeah, I really miss the live audience where you can have indeed the French people now, you know, coming in with their arguments why it isn't true. But it's a good story. Yeah, I like it. Looking forward to next year already.
Exactly. And I'm receiving messages from friends of Chinese origin that they're complaining already because of what I said, because they claim that actually they invented panettone. And I can answer, no, you didn't invent the panettone, Michelle, either. Okay. So, voila.
So they invented paper. So there you go.
Yeah, okay. They named it. I think that's it. I think we're arriving gently to the end. It's my time probably for thanking every one of you, all the community, all the entrepreneurs, all the investors, the state of Geneva, the Fongit people, all really the friends that are supporting our community. And again, I start to feel it really like a really a great family. And we're going to make it through the following and the coming year if we are really together, together. First of all, with our families, that I always keep insisting it, they are the main stakeholders of our activity, and they are more important than our shareholders, which is a big difference. But it's also related to a larger family that we all are. So I'd like to thank in particular, of course, Ingeborg, James for being here, and the team. I cannot mention everyone, but they will have the pleasure to have all together later on. And I'm sorry for you that you won't be able to attend. Not only the panettone, but also another very Italian tradition, very much like, which is the tombola, the bingo, the Christmas bingo at lunchtime. I don't know if there is any question, but before saying anything, I really want to thank you all for being what you are and for being so supportive. I mean, our work wouldn't be the same, and probably wouldn't be so driven by if you were not around us. That's it. Okay. Any question from the audience?
So I'm looking at the questions here. I think we've covered most of the questions, not only about innovation in Switzerland, but also about the origins of Panettone and also Antonio. And I think it's now's the time to wrap up for the year, and look forward to see everyone at the beginning of next year to celebrate 30 years of startup support in Switzerland. Yeah, that's it. I think, thank you all. We'll see you on the other side of the year. So we'll see you in a new brand year that we can build together with enthusiasm, passion, and love. So and vaccines.
And what?
Vaccines.
Yeah. Oh. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, how I wish for the Christmases